What's going on, guys? This is TabMock99. Today's topic is going to be one that's interesting to a lot of people who are thinking forward. By that I mean Mortal Kombat 11. The topic is, does Kano actually have a son? Now, in order to answer that question, we've got to look at Mortal Kombat endings and how they work. In Kano's Mortal Kombat X ending, it's stated that Kano indeed has a son.
But even he would one day succumb to fate. His ideals of ruthless terror would die with him, unless he could pass on his methods to a new generation. Combat, weapons, high-tech sabotage, torture, all would be part of the curriculum. But before his students could learn his techniques, Kano would beat the weakness out of them. They would understand, or die trying. Kano's first pupil, his own son. Class was now in session.
So Kano's ending is pretty clear here. He wants to teach future generations to be just as ruthless and violent as he is, and he's going to achieve this by torturing his own son. Well, that's all well and good, but the thing is, endings are just what-if scenarios. They show what would happen if that character were to go on to win. Here to explain that is John Tobias.
One thing I will say about the one thing to keep in mind with all the character endings in the first few games is they were always written as not so much canon. They were written almost as like outrageous, like these are like outrageous what-if scenarios. Like
what if they win?
What if this guy won? Maybe this would happen. Not so much canon.
So what this basically means is that Kano's ending may or may not happen, right? If Kano wins, then of course his ending happens and he has a son. But in all likelihood, Kano's not going to win. Now, the thing is, sometimes, even if the character doesn't win, parts of their ending do happen. Good example of this is Johnny Cage's MK1 ending. He goes on to film Mortal Kombat the movie. In Mortal Kombat 2, his ending shows that he films Mortal Kombat 2 the movie. So what's interesting is that even though Johnny Cage isn't the winner of the first tournament, that part of his ending holds up. He did actually go on to film Mortal Kombat the movie. Another thing about the endings is that any part of the ending that deals with the past, that deals with the events prior to the start of the tournament, happened no matter what. A good example of this is Mileena's ending in Mortal Kombat 2. In her ending, it's revealed that she's not actually Kitana's twin sister, as it said in her bio, but in reality, she's a grotesque clone created by Shang Tsung's magic. And the thing is, nobody disputes this. Everybody agrees that this is the case. There is no one who will argue that Mileena's not really a clone because she wasn't the winner and her ending never happened. There are some people who might argue that there's a difference in the old timeline and the new timeline, but there isn't really as far as the way endings are treated. Endings are still the same. Endings are what-if scenarios. They still show what would happen if that character were to win, and the thing I'm saying about their past holding up, no matter what, that's still the case. Good example in the new timeline. Smoke's ending in Mortal Kombat 9. Here, it's revealed that he was abducted by a cult as a small child, and became a kind of demon called an Enenra.
Shao Kahn's violent death shook the very core of Smoke's being, and dislodged his earliest memories. Tomas Rabada was only a boy when he was abducted by an obscure cult and sacrificed to a demon. Burned alive, he returned to the mortal realm as an Enenra, a creature of smoke and vapor. His captors were helpless against his shapeless form as he lashed out with rage, killing them all. His murder avenged, he returned to his human form, remembering nothing of his former life. Now aware of his true identity, Smoke understands he is no mere assassin. His destiny has been revealed.
And again, there is nobody who disputes this. There's no one who would argue that these events didn't happen to Smoke as a small child. Because yes, it occurred in an ending. In fact, that's the only time this is ever mentioned, is in Smoke's ending. It's not mentioned in his bio, it's not mentioned in story mode, just his ending. But everybody agrees that this is what happened to him, because it's the part of his ending that deals with the past. It's the part of his ending that deals with events prior to the start of the game. So if you take that logic and you apply it to Kano's ending in Mortal Kombat X, you would have to think that that means, yeah, Kano's got a son. I mean, think about how old Kano's son is in his ending. So if you look at Kano's son here in this ending, he looks to be about the same age as Jackie or Cassie. That means that while the good guys were settling down and starting a family, Kano was also out there getting busy. Well, I decided to ask some of the developers about the status of Kano's son, and here's what they said. Brian Chard said endings start as non-canon, but some become so. I'll have to wait and see like the rest. And Dominic Cianciolo says endings aren't canon. He might, or he might not. So it seems that, for now, the question of whether or not Kano's son is legitimate is up in the air. Something to be resolved in a future Mortal Kombat game. But consider this. In Mortal Kombat's entire history, from the very first Mortal Kombat game up till today, any parts of endings that deal with the past have always been considered as canon, without exception. There is no ending in Mortal Kombat's entire run that has ever had some sort of reveal about the past that they later turned and wrote out of the game. So to me, that means that yes, Kano definitely has a son. The only way Kano couldn't have a son is if his ending deals with something far in the future. If they're saying 17 to 20 years after Mortal Kombat X, that's when his son is born. Okay, then I could see where Kano might not have a son. But that's not the way it looked to me in the picture, so I'm going to go with, yeah, he's got a son. The question is, who's the mother? And what's the son's name? And will he even be seen in a future Mortal Kombat game? And if so, is he going to side with Kano? Is he going to be one of the Black Dragon? Or is he going to turn against his father? Is he going to join the forces of good? Well, these questions and others we'll just have to see in a future date. Until next time, this is Tabmock99. See you later.